Welcome everybody to Humbled, All Walks of Life. Today, we have a special guest, Marine veteran and Army veteran, two for the price of one. We got the OG, Louie, and then we got my counterpart. Go ahead, Tim.
Trip, Tim, Timmy, whatever you want to call me, same as yesterday, and it'll be the same tomorrow. What's going on, Mr. Louie?
What's up, fellas? I go by many different names, depending on what circle of life you know me from. I grew up being called Screw Louie, Papa Lou, Lou Dog, Angry Mexican, Disgruntled Mexican. But it's up to you what you want to call me, whether it's Louie or Lou. And as long as you don't call me late for dinner or collect, we're cool. If you call me from town, I'm gonna laugh at your ass.
Hell yeah, I know who I'm not calling from a jail cell. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so the show, it's more of the guest. You know what I mean? It's about the guest. So today's episode is about you and your path of life, Louis. So we just want to get to know you a little bit, and we want the people to get to know you a little bit. So whatever you want to share, whatever you're comfortable with sharing with the people, then the people want to hear from you so they can relate with you. And
Yeah.
if you want to,
So,
go ahead.
so who is Louie? How did Louie become who you are?
Well, as far as I know, the claim is that I was born in LA in 1975. I wasn't there. Cognitively, I wasn't there. It's just what my parents told me. And I ended up growing up in the city of Duarte, which is about 20 miles east of LA. Where I remember growing up was called the Low End. It was south of the railroad tracks. And we lived directly across the street from a cemetery. The first memories I have are of me running around the hallway next to one of those wall heaters, looking into the living room, and my dad smoking, playing poker, drinking beer. And apparently I would take his beers, drink them, and run around drunk and hit myself against that wall heater.
Bad little guy.
Those are the first memories.
That's what I'm talking about. Like a little city redneck right there. Hell yeah.
And then the other memory I have is of me and my brother. I have two brothers and one sister. So my brother Johnny, he's 14 months younger than me. And I remember him and I were in the crib just staring off onto my parents' bed. And then we start growing up, and I have memories of being aware of different surroundings in my background. So I didn't always understand what was going on around me because English was not my first language. It was actually Spanish. And I started learning English by watching the Flintstones, the Jetsons, and whatever other cartoons were on at the time. Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, you're old.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I grew up watching. And my grandparents was Scooby-Doo, Charlie Brown, all
Right.
them.
Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah, GoBots, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, the good old school. They don't make no more.
Right. And then one of my other memories was I was walking near my grandparents' house. My brother, my cousin, and I, we had two bicycles. My cousin was with us, and two black kids walk up to us with chains. And they're like, "Give us your bike." My cousin, he immediately gave him the bike. And I was like, hell no. Like, I don't care who these kids are. Like, they ain't taking my bike. So the thing is that even though I wasn't taught to have any prejudice and my point of view and my culture, it was all around us. And as we're growing up, second grade, they had a Cinco de Mayo festival, and I was dancing with a black girl. Apparently I was happy. According to the picture, I look happy. I don't remember that incident. But what I do remember was being in second grade, and this girl and her brother came up to me and they tried to steal my food. The girl grabbed my pancakes, the little brother grabbed my sausages, and I got pissed. I threw the milk in her face and I smacked the little brother in his face with my my lunch pail, my lunch tray. And that's when I noticed that there was differences in the way people acted and the way people treated each other. But I still didn't let that hold me back. I had some awesome teachers like Ms. Marshall. She was a really scary woman.
Damn, dude, I don't remember any of my teachers' names. That's crazy.
Oh, so trip out on this. First grade, well, when I went to elementary school, this was called Maxwell Elementary School. My elementary school teacher, she taught first and second grade, so it was a blended class. And my mom was taking me to my first day of class, and I see this kid just pulling away from his mother, screaming and crying, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I walk into class, and the first thing this lady does is she blows a whistle in my ear in order for me to be quiet. And I was just like, now I know why this kid was crying. So the next day, day 2, I was that kid. I was like, I don't want to go. I was scared. And I still remember some of the things about first grade where if we said a bad word, it was instantly go wash your mouth with soap. And I said a derogatory word. I called somebody a white N, and she grabbed me. She dug her nails into my shoulders, and she started shaking me, and at the same time, she started blowing her whistle in my ear.
Damn.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but I wasn't calling you one. I was calling him one. And it didn't matter. I found out that word was bad regardless of the context. So I still remember, working hard, trying to learn as much as I could, because that was what my parents taught me is learn a lot. You're going to get a good job. You're going to succeed in life as long as you learn. And I did my best. I remember getting selected for what I think was the precursor to GATE, Gifted and Talented Education. And I went up for some contest with another kid. And I got an award for it. So, with that, like my thinking was that I wanted to be a doctor or a scientist. And my teacher, she was very accommodating. She taught me a lot. After that whistle and shoulder shaking incident. And I had another teacher. Her name was Ms. McDonald. She was the teacher's aide. Awesome lady, but her kid did not like me. And I remember going to his birthday party. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to like a multicultural party, but back in those days, like you didn't really see a lot of Mexicans at a black kids party. Now you do. But the mom, she had me play a game. I won a prize, and I picked something. The kid's like, but I wanted that. And I was like, okay, here you go. She's like, no, you don't do that. But that kid freaking hated me. And I'm like, why? I didn't do anything to you.
Because you won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we go from elementary school. I moved from the low end to the east side of Duarte. And I'm in 4th grade now. And my dad said, okay, you know what? He says, you're here, you learn. Just pay attention to school, don't fight, just learn as much as you can. And me being the tallest kid in school, I was getting bullied a lot. And people always wanted to fight with the tall kid. And I wouldn't fight back because my dad told me not to fight.
Hey, Louis that guy in prison, fool, the biggest, toughest guy in prison, right? You're gonna have to make.
That he cries when he gets beat up.
He's gonna have to make a video, please, guys. I know they said he looked for the biggest, toughest guy in here, but I'm a bear on the inside. I have a good heart. Please stop beating me up.
Yep. Hell yeah, I ain't mad at you, Louis.
Did you ever get over that? Did you ever beat some? Did you ever fucking get them back?
Well, I'll get there eventually. So all of fourth grade, man, I went through all that. And like I couldn't even talk to girls. Girls would like shun me and they're like, oh, get away from me, nerd. And I was just like, okay, fine. But because these girls would accuse me of certain things, like all the guys would want to kick my ass. So finally one day, I'm walking home from school. This is in fifth grade. And I look back and there's this big, like older black dude just chasing after me. And I freaked out and I ran. I got around the corner because my house was just the next block over from the school, and I hid behind a wall. And the guy didn't run past me. I went home. My mom saw me. She's like, what's going on? And I told her, I got chased by somebody, and I was crying because I was scared. So she took me to the school, and she had the school file a report. When my dad got home that night, he says, all right, we're going to go look for this motherfucker. And pulled out his 357, and we went looking for him. It was late. I mean, the fact that he was willing to back me up was there, and that's what I needed to see.
Right.
So I said, okay, look.
That dude was long gone. The incident already passed. You know what I mean?
Right.
He already robbed the bank at that point. You know what I mean?
Yep. So around that time, I was getting suspended a lot for not fighting. I would get hit, I wouldn't fight back, and I'd get suspended. And my dad said, Louie, he says, the next time anybody comes up to you and they want to hit you, just knock their asses out. I was like, all right, game on. The next day, this kid that would constantly bully me, he walks up to me. We're playing Butts Up. I don't know if you're familiar with that game.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Butts Up is, you get like a blue ball or a tennis ball and you throw it up against the wall. And if you catch that ball when it bounces back, the previous person who threw it has to run up to the wall and touch it before you throw it back at the wall and hit the wall. If you hit the wall before he touches the wall, he has to put his hands up on the wall and you have to throw the ball at him.
See, we used to play it different. What we used to do is if you catch the ball and you throw it and hit the wall, you run up and you start beating that fool. Until he touches the wall. So we used to play in pairs. So if you caught the ball, your teammate was bow, 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 while he was trying to get to the wall, fool.
Yeah, I remember seeing like a version of that later on.
Oh, dude.
So this dude, he got pissed that I caught the ball, and he starts walking up to me. Dude, I've never seen a dude walk like a stork. And I was just like, what the fuck is up with this guy? And before he even walked up to me, I just leaned back, fucking straight fist his fucking nose, dropped him. And when I dropped him, the staff came and they're like, oh my gosh, what happened? And I just stood there. I was just like, he came to fucking hit me, and I knocked him out.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this guy picking on me.
Yep, I'm tired of this guy picking on me. So guess what happened?
You got suspended and he didn't.
Yep, exactly. That was an injustice, and that's when I realized that life is not fair. Sometimes people will pick on the bully. I mean, the bully will pick on the kid, the nerd, and they'll both get suspended. But when the nerd fights back, the bully is now the victim. And after that, I started fighting with that guy a lot. My mom, she went up to the school to pick me up one day because, it wasn't just him. It was a group of other kids. Even people that I knew, like, that were relatives, they would back them up. And my mom went up to the kid and she's like, hey, why are you picking on my son? And like, why would you even, bother him? All he wants to do is come to school and study. He goes around, he tells the school that my mom grabbed him and that she pulled him.
Wow.
And then he has the nerve to say that he was going to punch my mom in the stomach when she was like 8 months pregnant with my youngest brother.
Please tell me you knocked the fuck out that dude.
Bro, I went after him, and he would win some, I would win some, but in the end, like I got the upper hand. Like that just fueled me. It enraged me, and I ended up, fighting with him all the way up until 7th grade. So from 5th grade to 7th grade, so that's 2 years of fighting.
Green light.
The only reason I stopped fighting. Say again.
Green light every time you see that fool.
Yep. So the only reason I stopped fighting with him in 7th grade was because things had changed. He joined a gang called Duarte East Side, and I didn't. And then there was what we call Do Rock Crips. And so, that's when you started changing culture, perspectives. And, for me, I was still trying to be, a nerd. And I had gotten into karate. Say again?
I say, you just trying to get your study on.
Yep. So I'm just trying to be a nerd. And my dad had put me in karate, and he says, okay, look, you only fight in self-defense, but don't fight just to start a fight. I was like, all right, cool. So I went up to the 7th grade, and then
give me your best karate move.
The Crane by Daniel LaRusso.
Oh, I bet.
Bro, I'll fall. I have no balance now.
This story reminds me of my dad growing up. My daddy always told me, don't pick no fight. But
make sure you end it.
Yeah. To put it nicely, don't be no bitch neither.
Yeah.
I remember getting my ass kicked. I got jumped in school. Come home, got suspended. My daddy was mad I didn't fight back. Got back in school. When I got off suspension, I went over there, fought the dude back, got suspended again. Dad took me for like chicken nuggets or some shit. He was happy.
There you go.
But don't ever start no shit.
Yep.
That's how I was brought. Don't ever start no shit.
I think that's the majority of most households. The problem is that some parents don't really know what their kids are up to. You know what I mean? Like if I found out my kid was being a bully, I'd be fucking pissed because we are anti-bully. But I tell you right now, my mom was the same way as your pop's way. Because my mom was single mom, Mexican lady. I'm first generation Mexican from my side of the family.
Scary as fuck. That flip flop comes off, you better run.
You already know, fool. She don't miss that chancla, dog. But I got in a fight by defending. It was this black kid. He was a bully, fool. He picked on everybody, but he never picked on me because I was, about the same size as that fool and a little muscular. You know what I mean? And so he really didn't fuck with me. But one day I was walking with my little white friend. His name was Nick. He was kind of special, dog. Like nobody really fucked with that dude because he wasn't in like special ed, but he probably should have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was a little slow, bro.
He had that particular strength that we can't say the word on.
Dude, this kid was, so I befriend him because I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? So I was cool with this kid. And we're walking home because he lived in the same apartment complex with us. You know what I mean? In the same area because it's a big ass apartment complex. It's where all broke people live. So there's a bunch of us. So pretty much the whole school pretty much walks down to that apartments area. And so we're walking, dude. And the bully keeps kicking this fool in the back of the feet. And I was like, Nick, say something, dog. I'm like, Nick, come on, fool. Like, bro, and it was like 10 times, and we finally get to the stop sign or in front of this apartment, and this dude, I see that he's going to do that, so I kick his foot out from underneath from coming towards my boy, and then I was like, yo, chill, man. You've been picking on this kid since we've been walking from school, dog. Leave him alone. He's like, oh, you want me to pick on you? You want me to pick on you? I was in 6th grade, fool. This fool, comes up to me, starts pushing me, expects some shit from me, right? I don't do nothing. And I was like, okay, you're gonna push me, He just kept pushing me. His sister comes and she scratches my eye, fool. And she has like real long ass nails, fool. And she scratches my eye. I get home I got blood coming from my nose and from my eye. My mom's like, what happened? I was like, dude, this kid, I got in a fight. She's like, did you fuck him up? I was like, nah, I didn't do nothing to him. So we go to the school. They suspend both of us. Let me fast forward because I'm taking too long with this shit. My bad. Fast forward real quick. So my mom takes us back to the school, bitches to the thing. Like, look at my son. The fucking kid comes back, and the mom's like, he has a black eye. This motherfucker was so black, fool. Like, come on, bro. Like, you didn't have a black eye, fool. I didn't even fucking touch you, dog. You know what I mean? And they suspended both of us. And my mom told me. My mom took me home, dog, and she whooped my ass with the cinto, fool. She took that belt, fool. Wah. I got my ass beat twice in one day. So after the suspension, I went back. Nah, never. After that, fool, I ain't never went home and lost a fight after that. That was the only fight I've ever lost in public. I swear to you, the only fucking fight I've lost in public. That fool tried to test me again because we both got suspended. I said, all right, come on, fool. I'm gonna teach you something. You thought you was bad because I wasn't fighting back. This time, my mom gave me the go ahead. Let's go off school. We went to the back of the field, fool. Man, I whooped that fool's ass. Next day in school, like he cried to his mom, like he had a big ass knot. His eye was all swollen. I was like, I was like, now you got a black eye, fool. I could tell now. Dude, I was so fucking heated. He kept talking shit about my mom, all this shit. After that, fool, he became my friend. But I'm not petty. I became his friend. Like, you know what I mean? I told him, I was like, hey, bro, like, you don't got to, everybody's cool, dog. Like, what's wrong? Because I'm from San Bernardino, fool. So where I'm from, it's mostly black people. It's mostly black people and, you know, a little bit of Hispanics, fool. And the little bit of white people is all crackheads, fool. So, you know, they're either black or they're Mexican. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real. That's how I was growing up for me, fool. I'm from the 80s, dog. You know what I mean? And fucking, and this dude.
They gonna be crackheads. They gonna be white.
So when I went to another area, you know what I mean? Like when I got closer to like LA, it was more like Hispanic people and, you know, and lesser, you know, black people and hella less white people in my school. I don't even think there was any white people really. But dude, after that, bro, it was the school system was fucking wrong for that, and I learned that from school system too. All right, I see how it is. They're playing favoritism. It just depends on where you're at, dude, and who you are, I guess. So
and see, down here it was a little bit different. Down here, I hate to say it, the whites were more favored, and that's just how it was.
Right.
You get a white kid that says a black kid's picking on him. Black kid probably gonna get suspended before the white kid. Now, if it comes down to a fight, yeah, I mean that's just Mississippi tends to be one of them states that are. But
I'm glad, dude, that the world is going forward, food, because that's bullshit, dog. Like during my era, I had like black friends and you know white.
I did too.
You know all that shit, but. You know, like my uncles and all them, you know, they're coming from over there, fool. And when they got here, it was just, you know, their wetbacks or this and that. You know what I mean? You know, so they really didn't get along with, you know, with black people. But dude, I love that shit now, dude. Fucking multicultural, dude. I love that. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude. It's just we're fucking all human beings, dog. We're all fucking people, and
hey, you cut me, you cut you cut a black guy, you cut an Asian guy, you cut a fucking Filipino. We all bleed fucking red.
Right.
It's all the same fucking color. I mean, if you're dying on a hospital bed,
all our blood is blue. You know what I mean? On the inside is blue and it's red on the outside. It's the same shit.
If you dying on a hospital bed and they come to you and say, hey, your blood type's A, we got blood here. Are you asking what color it come from? Hell no, you need that.
Right.
You gonna take it. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But anyway, we got a little sidetracked there, Louie. Get on back to you.
So when it came to getting to junior high school and cultural shifts, you know, there was the Crips and there was the Cholos, and the guy that I would fight with every day in elementary school, he got in a fight with one of the Crips. Fair fight. He beat him down. And that's this guy, he ran, he said, I got jumped by the Mexicans. So it started a big old fight, big old riot. And right after that, you know, the Cholos are all like, all right, you got to pick a side. You're either with us or you're against us. And I got jumped in. in 7th grade. And later that year, we just kept fighting with them every single day. And kids that I was in elementary school with, first, second, and third grade, kids that I went to gate with, they were now my enemies. These were kids that I had a lot of love and friendship with, and now we can't even look at each other without wanting to kill each other. So my dad said, okay, you know what? That's it. You got to just stop fighting with people. Just focus on your studies. So I went back 8th grade, and it was the same thing. Just I was still a part of the gang, but I kind of just took a step back. And we didn't have any more riots, but what I did notice is that genetically, these guys were getting a lot stronger. It's just in their bloodline. And for us, we're all thin and skinny, and we're called beaners, but that's just the way it was. But a betrayal came for me when one of the guys that was a part of my crew, he decided he wanted to start a fight with me. And he walks up to me, kind of like the other guy, doing the stork freaking hand movements. And he's all like, "What's up, fool?" And he pops me on my nose. And my brother was playing volleyball a couple of courts over from where I was at. He was in 7th grade. I was in 8th grade. And these two dudes, we start whooping them. We start beating them down. They take us to the office. I'm all bloodied up because he popped me on my nose. They call my maternal grandfather. He didn't answer. They called my mom. She wasn't available. They called my paternal grandfather, who lived right around the street from the school. He comes over. He's all like, "What happened?" And this guy, the one that popped me, he's all like, "They were trying to kill me. They were trying to kill me." My grandfather's all like, "Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot," in Spanish. And the guy's just like, So my brother and I, we went with my grandfather. He's all like, "What happened?" I'm like, "These guys, they jumped me, and we fought back. We beat them." He says, like, "All right, cool." He says, "Let's clean you up. Let's go get some ice cream." And I thought that was cool.
Hell yeah.
But that right there, that incident showed me that regardless of what your ethnic identity is, there's always people that are with you and against you, regardless of who they are, regardless of the color of their skin. And that year, my dad said, "Okay, you know what?" He says, "I got to get you guys out of here. We got to move you guys out to a better neighborhood." And lo and behold, one of my good friends, he was killed that year by the gang from the next city over, from Monrovia. And it was 3 guys. They beat him with baseball bats, and they, it was to the point where he couldn't even have an open casket. And my dad said, "That's it." He says, we're moving you out of here." So we did. We moved out. We moved to a place called Covina. And, I still had that animosity towards the way that people were treating me. I still had animosity towards white people, towards black people. And I'm in high school now. And some dude decides that he wants to shoot me. Little Puerto Rican dude. And I was like, all right. He wants to shoot me. I'm in 11th grade now. So he tells me that he's going to shoot me, and I pull out a knife, and I'm going to go stab him. I have one of those big old buck knives. They're like 3 inches long, 3-inch blade.
Hey, 3 inches is ginormous, fool. That's a giant knife, man.
Yep.
No, it's
freaking
not that big of a knife.
Crocodile Dundee. Sheesh.
There you go. So right before I went to stab him, one of my own friends ratted on me. And I ended up getting arrested. The guy that said he was going to shoot me, he gave his gun to someone else. So when they searched him, he didn't have the gun. So I got charged with attempted murder. I'm 16 years old. And I get arrested. I get expelled from school, from the school district. And, so there I am getting ready to go face the justice system. And I was running with another crew at that point. I was still a part of the Duarte gang, but I wasn't representing them anymore.
And they were Sureños or what?
Yeah, they were the Sureños.
Yeah.
So I went with the party crew, and it was just 6 of us, and we're pretty ruthless. Like, people feared us. Even the bigger party crews feared us because they knew that we held our business down. And these guys turned on me too. One of my boys, he hooked up with my brother's girlfriend, and then they all started coming after me. Damn. And I was walking towards a friend's house, and she ended up shielding me at her house. She called her mom. She says, "Hey, these guys are trying to jump Louie, and they want to shoot him. They want to kill him." And so her mom called the cops, and I met up with this guy from the gang unit, and he says, "Hey, this is a time for you to reflect on your life choices and decide what you're going to do with your life, because you're either going to go down this spiral where you become a dirtbag, or you're going to do something good with your life." And I'm like, "Well, I already have aspirations to join the military." I go, "I'm most likely going to join the Marine Corps." He says, "All right, cool." He says, "Well, that's what you do." And he would check up on me like every few months. He would come by and check up on me, and he's like, "Dude," he says, "if I could be your probation officer, I would." And I don't know what happened with my attempted murder case, but it disappeared, fell through the cracks. So he tells me, "Louis," he says, "I want you to meet a reporter that I know, and I want you to do an interview." So I did an interview. I still have it somewhere in my, like my old newspaper clippings. And she just asked me about, my life choices, what my goals were in life, and I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna do something with myself." So I was in independent studies that whole year, and my counselor was an Army veteran. He says, "What do you want to do with your life?" I'm like, "Oh, I want to go be a cop." He's like, "Dude, don't be a cop." He says, That's a rough life. That's a bad choice." He says, I recommend you do something better." I was like, "All right, cool." So that year, I made up for all the credits that I lost in school for being kicked out. And I made more than enough credits to graduate early from high school. So this is my junior year. And that summer, I ended up going for another interview with the district. And they're like, "All right, we're going to admit you back into the school district, but we're not going to let you go back to your old school. You have to go to South Hills High School." And South Hills High School is one of those rich people's schools. That's where all the rich kids go, about 5 miles from my house.
Right.
I was like, "Fuck, I don't want to go to Beverly Hills 90210. And I went. And the principal told me, she says, "I'm going to give you a chance." She says, "But you cannot get into any fights, anything that you do wrong. If you're late, if you're truant, she says, I will throw your ass out of the school." So I said, "All right, cool. Challenge accepted." The first week of school, I saw the Marine recruit, and I walked up to him and was like, "What's the hardest job in the Marine Corps?" He says, "Infantry." I'm like, "All right, sign me up." At the same time,
he tricked you, dog. He said, "What's the hardest one?"
Yeah, I know. And from what I remember, he was actually a cook.
Oh man.
So we had this dean at that school, and he was a freaking prick, man. He did not like me. He told me in front of my mom, he says, "I don't care what you do." He says, "I don't like you. I don't like who you are." He was actually a racist dude. He says, "And I will do anything I can to kick your ass out of the school." And my mom's like, "What'd he say?" I'm like, "Mom," I go, "I don't even want to translate for you because it's pretty prejudiced. But in a nutshell, he says he doesn't like me because I'm Mexican and he wants to throw me out of school." And she says, "All right, well, prove him wrong."
Where were you at?
This was at South Hills High School, West Covina, California.
West Covina.
Yeah.
I didn't think they had no racist up that way. Damn.
Nah, bro, this is like a straight up rich area in that part of California.
During that time, even to this day, it's still,
So what's Glendora, Royal Oaks, Covina, let's just say the east side of Covina, or they call it Covina Hills, Glendora, Laverne, those are all like areas that have money in there. La Bonita, San Dimas, Woodbury, Arcadia. Those are all areas that have money. But Duarte, Monrovia, Azusa, Irwindale, those were all the hood. Parts of Covina were the hood. You know, they're all different now, but back then it was pretty rough.
Yeah, Azusa was cool. I used to always go kick it up there.
Yeah,
chilling in the creeks.
right on. Azusa Creek, yeah. I remember like Eagle. What do they call it? Sand Canyon, Eagle Canyon, Azusa Canyon.
Yeah.
Azusa Canyon. That's a cool spot. But you know, so I get to the end of my senior year in high school, and I got two stories. So the first one was I'm in electronics class, and these kids are they're horsing around, and somebody throws something at some dude, and it almost hits his girlfriend, and he gets pissed off. He's like, "Who threw it?" And he looks right at me. And he freaking walks up to me and he pops me, man. And I'm ready to freaking murder this dude. And I didn't get to do anything because the teacher walked back in. But he walked in a couple of days later and he looks at me. He's like, he nodded at me like he knew he fucked up. But he's the dude that I wanted to get to beat down. The other one was I was a wrestler in high school. I wasn't the best. But I had this dude from England. He's a big black dude. He weighed 205. I was in the 175 category. So he outweighed me by 30 pounds. And this guy would say, "You need to call me Sir Lord Darwin Caldwell." And I was just like, "Shut the fuck up." I was like, "Dude, you're a clown." You know, I could see this English dude just going like this, you know? And he challenged me in front of my homie, White Boy Tony. White Boy Tony and I went to the court together. And he says, "Yeah," he says, "I want to challenge you to a wrestling match and I'm going to beat you." I was like, "You know what? Challenge accepted." I go out. I guarantee you're going to beat me by points, but you will not pin me. He's like, "All right." He says, "I'm going to pin you." So we go and we wrestle after school. And I mean, this guy's just that much stronger than me. I mean, 30-pound difference between a skinny Mexican and a big black guy, that's a whole other level of strength. And he has me by points. He has me on my back, and I'm just like, I cannot let this guy pin me.
You should have kissed
him. And what's that?
You should have kissed him. Get off!
I know,
me.
Huh? Well, there was incidents of that back then.
Start taking your clothes off. Nobody wants to fight a naked man.
Yeah. So there was gay bash and all that stuff too, but I'll talk about that later. So this dude, he's trying to pin me. Nothing. He cannot pin me. I'm dodging him. I'm getting out of his, I'm getting away from him, and he cannot pin me. So we get at the end of our 3 rounds, and they're like, "Yeah, Darwin won by X amount of points." He's like, "I beat you. And I was like, "Dude, I told you. You're going to beat me by points, but you're not going to pin me." And White Boy Tony, he's a scrawny dude. He's just skinnier than me. He's like, "Fucking Lou." He says, "That dude was big." He says, "Big old black dude." And Skinny OU did not let him pin you down. I mean, he still tells the story to this day. Pretty funny. So, we're talking about gay bashing and kissing and all that stuff. So that was a big thing in the culture back in those days too, was if you're in the closet, you stay in the closet. And I remember going to the Arena, which was a big gay club. Well, not even a gay club. It's just a club for all ages, all however you identify.
Where a lot of the gays went.
Yeah, a lot of gays went there. I mean, it was like 50-50. It was 50 straight, 50 gay, And my friends are all like, "Oh, let's go beat the friends." And I was just like, "Oh, man." Like, I felt bad for them, to be honest with you. I was like, just because they're gay doesn't mean that you got to beat up on them.
Yeah.
And they wanted to beat on them, and I was like, nah, just let them be. Let them live their lives,
Yeah, they wanted to beat them off.
Yeah, no kidding, no.
Yeah, my view on it is I don't partake, but it doesn't affect me none. That's their life. Let them live their life if they let me live mine.
Yep.
Doesn't bother me none.
So, they talk about portals in life, right? So portals in life are where, your perspective changes. You grow through this portal. So your first 10 years are one portal, your next 10 are another, your next 6, your next 5, so on and so forth. So my perspective changed when I got out of the Marine Corps. And I got some stories about that too, but we're on the topic of gay orientation right now. And I met this dude. His name was Tony, little skinny Mexican dude. And we became friends. And I kind of knew something was up with him, but I just kept it cool with him. This guy gave me a lot of tips on how to talk to women, how to dress, how to take care of myself, like physically, get ready with me type of stuff.
All right, Louie, tell me on the doll where he touched you at.
Oh, you got to pin the tail on the donkey, bro.
Oh, here, we'll put the beard
Hey,
down.
did he grab your hair
right
like
there,
that?
Right there. So me and this homie, we go out to a nightclub with another dude, another Marine actually. He was friends with. He's like, Louie, he says, I got something to tell you. And I was like, what's up, bro? He says, hee. And I was just like, I already knew where this was going. And I'm like, what's up, bro? He says, I'm like, just tell me. So, dude, I just want to tell you that I'm hee. And I'm like, what's up, man? And I'm like, he says, dude, I'm hee. I'm like, dude, just spit it out. He says, dude, I'm gay. And I'm like, dude, I've already known that, man. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, you're actually my first gay friend. And he's like, you're cool with it? I'm like, yeah, man. I treat you as who you are. You're just another guy to me. Dude, me and him would rip on gay people, straight people. Like, we would point out the narcissistic gays. And he's like, dude, he says, you're going to notice that in this community, a lot of the guys that are gay, he says, they're actually narcissists. And I'm like, it makes sense. And I lost touch with him. Maybe a couple years later, he ended up becoming like a dancer on a cruise ship. And never heard from him again. But
that sounds about right.
Man, you should look that dude up. Look him up. Again? Maybe he could get you some cruise tickets for the low.
Dude, I forgot his last name, man. He's a cool dude, though. And so I lost touch with him, but that changed my perspective on the LGBTQ community. And, so now we're going back into my time in the Corps. I went to MCRD San Diego and then I went to the School of Infantry Training Battalion at Camp Pendleton. And I did okay. I had an incident with a group of guys. There was 4 guys. One of them claimed to be a Hell's Angel.
Racist.
Yeah. He was probably about 8 years older than me. And this dude did not fucking like me at all. He took it upon himself to start shit with me. And I just wanted to be a Marine. And so he recruited 3 other guys to fuck with me. And these guys would do shit to me. Like when I wasn't looking, like they would fuck with my rack. They would fuck with my, wall locker, my boots. They would fuck with me when I was sleeping.
During basic?
And one night,
during boot camp?
Say again?
During boot camp?
No, this was in Infantry Training Battalion, MOS school.
Okay.
So what these guys did is how there's that dirty ass mop water, pungent shit.
Yeah.
So they got a rag, and they rubbed it on my bed when I was sleeping.
Oh man.
And they rubbed it on my face. And then they went and they told the staff duty NCO that I stunk. So the staff duty, he jumps my shit. He's like, hey, he says, you need to get up. I'm like, what's up, Staff Sergeant? He says, you stink. I'm like, I stink? He's like, yeah. I'm like, but I just showered before I went to bed. He says, no. He says, you stink. And I smelled my hand. I was like, oh, these motherfuckers. And they were laughing. So I was like, all right. They would do that shaving cream on the hand type of thing too, where they would tickle the nose.
Yeah.
And so they got me a few times. So I was like, all right, it's just me against these 4 guys. So I started fighting back too. I started duking it out with them one-on-one. When I would catch them one-on-one by themselves, I would give them beat downs.
Hell yeah.
And what I would do is when they would go out in town, I would fucking take a piss and a shit on their beds. on their, on their bed, on their pillows and their sheets, and they would come back from being out in town drunk, and they'd be fucking sleeping on fucking shitty, shit beds and pissed on beds, and I would be like, hey, staff duty, these guys stink. So that's how I got back at these guys.
Damn, dude, that is some wild shit to get back. For some mop water, this fool gave him fucking pink eye, dog.
Motherfucker say your ass gonna be itching for the next month.
Yeah, they come back from, I don't know, he smells like booze and he might have shit himself. Drills,
yep.
Oh no.
Yep. That's exactly how I played that. So one of these guys, he left his wall locker open. He came home drunk, back to the barracks drunk. And what I did is I fucking got him too. I got him really good. I took his wallet. I took all his CDs. I took all of his electronics, and I fucking threw them in the trash. Oh, I grabbed his wallet and I threw it up above the barracks.
On the roof?
On the roof.
Damn.
So that wallet is probably still up there unless maintenance found it by now. Shit. But I did this to him because these guys would fuck with me so much that I was like, all right, you fuck back, I fuck back harder. And that was the end of it, man. They stopped messing with me after that. We all went to different units anyway, so I didn't see them after the fact.
So what in the Marines did you do? What was your job title?
I was an infantry rifleman.
He was a grunt.
Yeah, I was a grunt. So my first job in the Marine Corps was infantry rifleman. Say again?
Bullet sponge?
Yep. Mm. And then somehow I ended up with a bunch of other MOSs. I ended up with a tow gunner MOS, which, I don't know how that happened, but somewhere along the lines that I ended up with that MOS. I don't claim it, but it's still in my records. I ended up becoming a marksmanship instructor. And then I also became an MP. I was what was it called? Temporary duty, TDY. Mm-hmm. But in the Army, what did they call it? TDA?
No, it was
TDY.
Your TDY route.
Yeah, so they put me over to the MPs. I did the MPs for 6 months, and I tried to re-enlist, but I just wasn't feeling the Corps anymore. And part of the reason for that was because one of the guys that I was with, he tried to kill me. And he was a year older than me, so he was he had already been in the Corps for a year, longer than I had. And when I first got to the fleet, we were, downstairs barbecuing. There was all the Mexican Marines got together, and they're like, "Hey, come down and hang out with us. Hang out with the raza." And I was like, "All right, cool, I'll hang out with you guys." And I'm singing a Vicente Fernandez song, and he's outside his barracks, outside the barracks room. He's like, "Hey, shut the fuck up." And I was like, "Nah, man, I ain't shutting the fuck up." He said, "Shut the fuck up." I was like, "Nah." You don't just challenge somebody and expect them to back down. And I'm walking to my room. My room is next to his room. This guy's like 240 pounds, and I'm 179 pounds. So another 60-pound weight difference. He grabs me. He starts choking me, and he picks me up on my neck, and he starts bashing my head up against the wall. And, he did some worse stuff than that. It's stuff that I'm in therapy for still. But I started blacking out. And I kept trying to fight him off, and I couldn't. And finally, I hear somebody coming up the stairs. He hears him, and he lets me go. And a couple weeks pass, and this guy, I ordered pizza. And I get pizza, knock on the door, and pizza shows up. And then that was it. I closed my door, and I get a knock on the door, and I'm thinking it's the pizza delivery guy. Maybe I fucked up his tip, or I didn't pay him right, or something, or just giving me something that he forgot to give me. And I open the door, and it's this dude again. And he's like, "Hey, give me your pizza." And I was like, "Fuck you, I ain't giving you my pizza." And I try to close the door on him, and he sticks his foot in. And, he's 60 pounds heavier than me. He plays football for the base football team. So, he's a lot stronger than me. He was able to fling the door open. He jumps on top of me, and I'm on the floor. and he starts choking me again, but this time he's bashing my head against the floor. So I know that that's where I ended up getting my TBI from. So I'm looking around, and the closest thing to me is my helmet and my tent stakes on the floor. And I'm like, I'm either gonna bash this dude in the head with the helmet, or I'm gonna stab him in the
neck.
Yep. And I could not reach him, dude. I was like literally this far away from being able to, pick up any of those things.
Man,
and he's still trying to. He's like, "Give me your pizza." I was like, "Fuck you! You ain't getting my pizza." And he's still bashing my head. He's still choking me. And dude, back in those days, our barracks had bathrooms that would join up the two rooms.
Yeah.
So my next door neighbors walked into the room, their room. I don't know if they're walking into the restroom or if they're walking into the room, but he heard it. He let me go and he ran out. So after that, I started carrying a knife, dude. I was gonna kill this dude, and that kind of sat, in the back of my mind.
Why didn't you fucking say anything?
Dude, bro, our culture.
Right.
We don't rat. We don't rat.
I feel that.
Can't be a bit.
But when you got a big motherfucker like that, like tormenting you, dude, and doing like so much damage, like it's either you're gonna kill the guy, or you know what I mean. You gotta fucking say something, or he's gonna keep.
I had plans to kill the dude because I was always carrying a blade with me. I went and bought a Gerber and I learned how to flick it open. And every time I would see him, I would just pop it on, flick it open. I'm like, all right, let's go. And he would back off because in our culture, Mexicans are known for being good with knives.
Right.
So after that, I never saw him again. We went to Fort Wainwright, Alaska, to do war games with the Army. And he didn't go on that. And then after that, we went to Okinawa. And went to Okinawa, Japan. He ended up going to another group. So I didn't see him again. I forgot about it. But, it was just one of those things that always kind of like sat in the back of my mind. Like, I love the Marine Corps, but I don't know if I'm going to stay. And when they wouldn't give me the job that I wanted, I got out.
Hey.
Go for it.
We're at the 52-minute mark right now. So what I would like to do is I would like to have you on again because 10 minutes is not enough. You're barely getting into your Marine stuff, and then you still got some Army stuff, and then stuff.
We ain't even scratched the bases.
Yeah, and then a little, we want to hear about what you got going on, today. Who you are today. People don't know who you are today. They don't know, how many, you got kids and you a dad, and you have your wife and you're disabled vet. They know you're a disabled vet, but
we don't know who you are today. We're just learning from your backstory.
Yeah,
we don't know the man that is Louie today.
So I would like to get you back for episode 2, if that's cool. And let's use this last few minutes. I asked you before coming to the show that if you would share a resource or a reference or something that you think that would benefit the people who are watching the show. Maybe there's something out there that a lot of people don't know. I don't know if you want to take that time.
Or something that's helped you in your life, or that could possibly, go on to others.
So one thing I do want to share with people, and it's not just for veterans, it's for everybody. 988, and it's the crisis line. A lot of people are struggling with mental health illnesses, issues, and it's not just service members or veterans. It's people in everyday life, and I mean, I see it every day on social media. I identify as this, I'm this, I do that, I do the other, I need a hug, so on and so forth. A lot of people they're just struggling. COVID didn't help out either, where people were isolated. Use that line, call a friend. If you don't want to talk to a stranger, call somebody that you know. All it takes is a conversation to open up your mind to whatever possibilities there are. People, they don't care what you know. They want to know how much you care. And that's where a buddy comes in, or 988 comes in. So use that resource.
They're not a real buddy if they don't sit down and talk it.
Yep.
If they don't sit down and listen to you, they don't care about you.
Yeah.
Because
and like Rich,
we all go through stuff.
like Rich, you and I have talked over the past couple of years about starting a group where we could be that response for that veteran that's about to lose it. You know, being a resource that the police department or the EMS can call and be like, hey, you know, we got a Marine here that needs to talk to somebody, or we got an Army, Air Force, Navy veteran that wants to talk to somebody that's a veteran. And if you can talk that same talk, you're going to be able to get through to that individual.
Right.
And eventually we're going to get there.
Yeah, that's something that we're definitely going to pursue, Louis. The battle buddy system, or you know, whatever we come up with it though. But you know, even if it's just they need 15 minutes, you know, if you sit there and you talk Army, Navy, whatever it might be, you know, there's been times where I've been down in the dumps, and I'm thankful for the group that I have now at the vet center. You know, you guys reaching out and helping me. You know, you seen and remember how when I first came to group, dude, how I was, and you know where I'm at now. You know, therapy is a big thing. And 98, you said 988.
988.
That's the crisis line.
Yes.
For all civilians and military.
For everybody.
And doesn't 988 also do something else?
I'm not sure. They might be able to get some other resources.
Like you know, talking about 801. Yeah, call before you dig.
When we went to that homeless encampment and was passing stuff out, Jason Recon said something. He gave one of them a phone number for something because they have like even for like homelessness.
Oh, you're talking about 211.
Ah, there you go, 211. All right.
Hey Louis, before we let you go, I do got a question for you though.
Go for it.
What'd be your superpower if you had one?
Oh, to sit on people.
Sit on people? What kind
of
power
is that? You can do that already,
you
bro.
You can do that now. You were twice the size of me. You could easily sit on me. He'd crush me.
You know what? In all honesty, though, joke aside, the superpower would be, you know, and it already lies with something that I have. I have empathy for people. You know,
so you would want your superpower to be empathy.
Well, it would be to take away people's pain.
And where's it gonna go?
Okay.
Are you gonna hold the pain?
Where's it gonna go? Are you gonna consume it, or you're gonna be able to abolish it?
I would be able to consume it and abolish it.
Just let it out like a fart.
Say again?
Just let it out like a fart. Food you bet. Oh.
There you go.
Little Mexican fart. Little.
Yeah. So talking about taking people's pain away, are you guys familiar with Reiki?
What's that?
No.
Reiki is a Japanese art of healing. It's basically using the hands, and it involves different chakras. You know, they have the crown chakra. I don't know them all off the top of my head anymore. I used to know them, but basically you heat up your hands, kind of like Mr. Miyagi did in Karate Kid Part 1, and he healed Daniel's leg, right? But one thing is that once you're done taking their bad energy or their pain, you push it back to the earth. You wipe it off of yourself.
That would be pretty dope, dude. I could be your first person. You can get all my knees, my back, my elbow, my wrist. You can take all that. You can have it all.
Why you say elbow like it? Elbow.
It's just one
elbow.
Elbow.
My elbow over here.
That's my TBI, dog. Hey, you just witnessed it. That's my TBI. I start to slow it down.
I heard that.
So empathy would be like the biggest one, is being able to relate to someone's pain, but also take it away.
Damn. So you would feel it for a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, you're crazy.
You ever seen that video of that stick figure that's all white? And he takes somebody's pain and he starts turning a little bit black.
Man, that shit makes me sad, bro. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. And then at the end of the video, the little dog comes and gives him love, and then the dog takes all that darkness away and throws it away. That's basically how I would describe Reiki. So yeah, you would feel it, but you can get rid of it.
Damn.
Hell yeah, you're a better human being than me.
Sometimes.
I would have went with invisibility. I want to be invisible. That way I ain't never got to talk to nobody.
I'm already invisible. All people just see my face, dude, when I'm walking. I just put a serious face. And just fucking, I don't even make eye contact, dog. I look through fucking people. People fucking get out of my way, dog, because I walk fast and I just.
So, Louie, are you religious?
I'm learning about it.
Gordo.
So I grew up Catholic. Okay. That was the religion I was introduced to.
Is there a Bible verse that you really love, or that holds true to your heart?
I don't know the name of it, but it's the one where you talk about, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Yeah. And God is with me. I don't know the whole verse, but that's one that I always fall back on, is that no matter what I do, regardless of how much danger I'm in, God's got my back.
That's good enough. That's good enough. As long as you're learning and you're trying, God sees and God knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you being on and talking with us. I know Zach does. There we go. Daily Bible. Hold it back a little bit. Come on. There we go. Life principles. Daily Bible. All right.
Yeah, so
Louis,
read through it.
Check it out. Yeah, Louis saying go check it out. If he's saying go check it out, I believe the man.
All right, I want to thank you, Louis. Thank everybody who's watching this right now. That's going to conclude us for the show.
Episode 1.
Yes, sir. Episode 1 guest star Louis, and we're going to have him on for a part 2 so we can get some more dig into his life a little bit. All right, you guys have a great day. Hit the little bell, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. All right, you guys take it easy.
Deuces.